Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are just joining, we are talking about the concept of time. So if you have not watched the previous video, I'll encourage you to go ahead and watch it. I'm Uchenna, the psychologist. So today we are going to talk about a concept of time called waiting. So actually waiting is good, but for now, for this topic, we are going to say don't wait for the right time. The right time doesn't really, there's nothing like the right time. There's nothing like the right time. We are some of us that are perfectionists, we have come to want to make sure everything is in place before we go to this for this trip, before we go for this project. We have to make sure that the money is there, that the money is complete, that um, every other logistics is already on ground for us to achieve that goal. All that is good because, of course, the Bible says, which of us who intends to build the house will not sit down and count the cost. You have to count the cost of what you want to do before you go ahead and do it. But then we have to know that counting the cost doesn't mean that all the resources have to be there. There's a difference between waiting for all the resources to be available before you start building and believing God that with what I have already I can start. Then as time goes on, the materials will come. I don't know those. Actually, I've not built a house before, but from what I've learned from people, nobody had like 50 million down and said, okay, I am going to build. They have a part of the money and they intend to build. So they go ahead and contract an architect or an engineer, and they start drawing up the plans for the house. So there are now stages in building. So they now be like, this first stage of building, will this be able to cover it? And if it is able to cover it, they go ahead to start. So by the time the second phase comes, you find out that they are able to even go on to the next phase, because of course some materials in the first phase will be remaining, and along the way some more materials would have come that will now enter the second phase. They do not wait till they have acquired the money for the first stage, second phase, third phase, fourth phase, to the final packing into the house. Okay, so do not wait for everything to be perfect. Do not wait for the right time or the right and perfect time for. Don't just wait for it to just be right. That's a famous quote from Napoleon Hill. Don't wait. It will never be just right. Just make sure you have calculated the cost as the Bible says, and know that okay, for this first phase I can start. It will not shock me and going to start by the time the second phase come. And one thing about this is, by the time you start the first phase, you gather momentum. There's this momentum, there's this joy, there's this feeling that is contagious, that makes you now to go ahead to the second phase. You now see resources. The universe produces resources, connections that makes you to go ahead, or you even find it easier along the way. So about the concept of time, don't wait till the perfect time. There is never a perfect time. Once you have made the necessary calculations, calculated the cost, the financial cost, the emotional cost, the time cost, what it will take you, you go ahead and start. Don't wait.